Yeah, no Jetstream. She's busy today.
Alright, vacation.
So,
Yes.
now that means I have to go into Jetstream's freaking channel just to tweak that. What's the point of me hitting update? Please, you know, to make sure something will do the thing it's meant to do if it doesn't do it anyway.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Hi, Alice, the magical elf. Apparently we're just trying to set things up for this makeshift stream. This is gonna be a Techie TearDown. Oh, so there's Nindrago over there.
Hello! I'm the guy with the beard.
It ain't special, mate.
Oh. Also, I can't see anything because I don't have the link.
The link's set up now.
I can't see. I'm blind, man. I'm blind.
To 100 people. Sure.
Oh, there they are. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah, sadly enough, Jetstream is not with us tonight.
Yep. But at least you got a me, right? That's good. Right?
You guys like me, right? Right? Okay. Hopefully we're not going to be dealing with a massive amount of delay. So, you know what? Let's
Delay?
just skip over straight to camp. Oh.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, hello. Hello, random printer. That looks dusty as hell.
Yeah, long and short, guys, I'm testing out some new settings on OBS to... apparently there's been a few bug fixes to OBS to make it run a bit better, so I'm trying them out before I do, like, a tabletop stream or a game stream. And so I figured, you know what? I like tearing down things. I take things apart all the time for parts in that, and sorry Nindrago if you're gonna have a hard time hearing me.
No, it's fine. I can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay, cool.
I think. Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, cool.
And I can
I'm
see
like
your
using...
hand. Right. I see a hand, a dirty printer, and your what I presume is your bed.
Yep. I don't usually use my bed for tearing things down. I usually use a big-ass table, but it is currently... I'm mid-cleaning, so...
Are you
Yeah.
ever clean? Are you ever?
Yes, I am. This is an old brother printer, and, well, my brother... my brother gave me the brother. And,
Give you the brother printer.
it is dusty, it is...
Really? I couldn't tell it's dusty with all the dirt and how outdated it looks.
Yeah. I mean, I kept it around for a while because apparently it had some interesting features, but I've kind of just sat there and gone, I don't really need this. You know, I live near an office store, so if I never need anything printed, it's like, you know, a couple of cents per sheet. It's like,
Right.
I already have a scanner, so, you know,
I see.
let's have fun taking this apart, and I may run through...
Not a racket.
Actually, I try and take things apart as cleanly as possible, just to preserve what I can.
Really? I thought we were gonna get the sledgehammer and smash it.
No. You see, there's a lot of useful things inside stuff like this. Ah, perfect. I can use this paper tray to store screws.
Hey folks, want to hear something what I do with outdated junk? Step 1, take it to the trash bin. Step 2, put it in the trash bin.
Oh, no. I'm not planning on making it work again. Drago. There's kind of no point. the problem with stuff like this is printer ink costs almost more than the printer itself. Like, I'm not kidding. If you buy a printer for like $40 or $20 or whatever,
Yeah.
the printer cartridges are like $30 each. That's where they get you. Like, I'm not kidding. It's actually an open secret. If you actually refill the ink cartridges yourself, it's a lot cheaper. But of course, people don't want to mess around with ink cartridges. So either they buy a new printer, or they fork out, nearly $50 for new cartridges. So anyway.
No, I have better things to spend my money on. Thanks very much.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm like, if I ever need anything printed, I go to Officeworks or Office Depot or whatever else. And
basically any store that has office in its name.
Probably has some sort of print service that's like, hey, you need a few hundred pages printed? Okay, $5, thank you.
Ching.
It's like... And in this day and age... Oh, actually...
$5. You could get a Micromaster for $5.
Sorry. Gotta remember, show off my personal screwdriver.
Wait, what is that?
It's my personal screwdriver.
Why does it look like it came out of Iron Man or something?
Because it does. It basically has interchangeable tooltips that store inside it.
That is really neat.
It is my favorite screwdriver ever. So,
You don't need to
anyway. Also, awesome. And the next thing that most people need when they're taking stuff apart, a magnet from a hard drive. Yeah, if you ever get a broken hard drive, salvage the magnets out of it. They're really powerful, really good. Like, yeah, you saw that, didn't you?
Yeah, like a brief second. And, oh wow.
Yeah, that is a neodymium magnet.
How powerful are these magnets?
Actually, I can demonstrate for you. I got a couple of magnets over here that are still stuck to their their plates, and well, you can see once they're together, they're really hard to get apart.
Really? Really hard to get apart, huh?
Yeah, and I have some server hard drives where the magnets are like twice the thickness, and oh my god, those things will break your finger. Like, no, seriously.
Why would they put magnets in a printer?
Well, it's not from a printer, it's from a hard drive. I just keep them around because they're useful for sticking screws to.
I mean, technically I already have experience taking apart machinery in the past.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, apparently I did take apart my school laptop, piece by piece. I thought about selling it for junk, but then I realized I took apart every last thing. And I do mean every last thing.
Really?
So it's practically worthless. According to my little brother, yes.
Oh, dear. No, that's the snap-in plate. I'm not gonna care that much if I break things, because I'm planning on salvaging. Just more important parts, but... Wait. They do make these a bit hard to get into. Yeah. It's also so dusty and covered in spiderwebs that it's like, what the heck?
Jeez, Techie, does Spider-Man live in your printer?
Don't you mean spiders, man?
No, I don't. I mean man spider.
Wait, you don't know about spiders, man?
Spider-Man. I know a Spider-Man and man-spider, not spiders man.
Okay.
Spider with an S at the end?
Yep, that's the one.
No, I
apparently,
don't know that one.
when they did the whole Into the Spider-Verse thing, the comics did their own thing, and they introduced a version of Spider-Man that was actually a group of sentient spiders who all decided, hey, we want to fight crime together, and basically inhabit a Spider-Man suit.
Okay, that is creepy.
Yep, he is. He freaks people out all the time.
Yikes. Like, you know how a spider like gets squashed, right? The stings. Ugh. No one wants to punch that.
That doesn't look like it wants. Looks like it wants to spout.
Get rid of it.
I'll be fine. Most of the spiders in my house are daddy long legs, and honestly, they're more scared of me than I am of them.
Seriously, I had to deal with redbacks all day.
Oh
day.
no, you must live in one of the other areas of Australia.
Yes, I do. The east part. Well, you live in the west part.
Yep, with all the nice beaches and, you know, no tourists.
Well, yeah, you get nice beaches and tourists. I get fires, coronavirus, and let's see, what else?
Hey,
yeah,
if it makes you feel any better, we're also having the shortage of toilet paper.
Yeah, but at least we have more toilet paper. Yeah, that's the one thing I take.
Look, you don't know what you miss until you miss it. What's this? That is annoying. Like, I would assume there would be, like, more screws around here, but it's all, like, snapped together, and this thing seems to be part of the power supply, so I might have to go in from the top. It happens. There.
Gotta have to take it from the top.
Yeah. Come on. Can you break, please? Nope, I'm not gonna break. Whatever.
You are very carry on.
Yeah, well. Okay. We got screws. Awesome.
I could have sworn our arms are almost similar.
Now, Drago, I've not told you this, but I am you.
Are you me from the future?
Yeah, somehow you gain a whole lot of knowledge about printers and such.
Oh my god! I can't believe it, everybody. Oh, apparently people love me in the chat.
Okay. Oh, awesome. That's...
Happy face.
Ooh, this is coming off right away. Zip cable and...
Techie, I have a question.
What?
What are we gonna do with these parts? I mean, what are you gonna do with these parts? Is that like your own Teenage Mutant Ninja printer or something?
I don't know yet. Like, there's several things they can do with all these parts that, you know, are kind of interesting. Like, these connectors and that are actually rather useful. Wires, always useful. But then you get weird things like, here's a speaker.
Why does a printer need a speaker?
Because it's also a fax machine.
Alright, it's gonna say, please, feed me paper. Please.
Feed me, Seymour, feed me.
Got a jam.
But, you know, even if I didn't have a use for the speaker has a magnet in it that has wires. Could be useful there.
Oh.
In fact, do you know how a speaker works in Drago?
Nope.
Do you know how drums make sound?
Yep.
Okay. Well, basically, a speaker works by having a coil of wire in the middle that a current passes through, an electrical current. That turns into an electromagnet for a little bit, which means it pulls down against the magnet at the bottom of the speaker, which is similar to a drum being deformed by a drumstick. But it happens so fast and over again at different amplitudes that it produces sound.
I'm gonna pretend I understood all of that and just nod my head.
I wonder what this is for. It has a choke on it.
Okay then.
It's a
apparently Raven the Magnificent says, "You two crack me up."
Oh, that's good. Let's see.
Like a dynamic duo.
What, I'm Batman, you're Robin?
No, you wish. I'm Batman.
Okay.
You get to be Red Robin. That's good for you.
Tim Drake? Yeah, he was popular.
I mean, you're more of a you're more of a Tim Drake Robin. You're like a Red Robin. And I'm Batman.
Not really the most useful thing, this. But hey, it's nice to know it's there.
What's that most useful thing there?
Not really useful thing.
Oh.
It's a membrane for keypad.
Wow, I didn't know you took out the brains of keypads.
No, membrane.
Oh. Isn't that technically still a brain?
No, brain. B-R-A-N-E, not B-R-A-I-N.
Oh, apparently Raven keeps calling us Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah. This might be useful in the future. See all these traces? I'm not sure if you guys can see them. I'll bring it up to the camera. Those chunky traces are really useful for patching into, and these are basically where the keypads are. So you can see, theoretically, I could cut this here, save this keypad, and then patch in some of my own wires, and actually use it as a keypad. Not sure how useful that would actually be, but hey, nice to know it's there. Ooh, here's the thing I'm interested in. Yep, there's the signal choke.
Wow! A number pad!
Well, it's more the keypad matrix that I'm more interested in.
Oh, you just put... Oh, you science boys always put big things somewhere sciencey with your words like quantum and matrix and cortex, all that.
Ah, here's the little screen from the printer. If I remember rightly, it's a black and white dot matrix screen. I'm hoping that I might be able to...
Matrix!
What? Do you even know what a matrix is?
Depends. Do you have the touch?
A matrix is literally a graph.
Oh, I was thinking of something completely different.
Yeah, it's you guys who grabbed the term matrix and went, hey, this could sound really cool in sci-fi. While all of us math nerds are sitting there going, it's literally a grid. You're saying the grid of leadership.
Yeah, whatever, nerd.
The Grid Trilogy.
The Matrix Trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, got some dust in my eye. But this is a...
Sorry, Grid... Well, sorry, Grid doesn't sound as cool as the Matrix.
Yeah. Either way.
Matrix just sounds cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm hoping I can look up the serial number of this screen and maybe actually use it with some electronics. So maybe I can make my own smartwatch.
Wait, you make your own smartwatches?
It's not that hard.
Oh, wait, can you like make your own like walkie-talkie thing, send it to me, and we be like, hey, what up, man?
The problem is you have to deal with the Australian Air Federation and all that, and signals and all that stuff, but...
we don't want the government taking away your highly advanced technology that you made out of a printer.
Nah, it's more that... Okay, the type of signal that could go... Understand that Drago and I live on completely different sides of the same continent.
Yeah.
So the strength of the signal that required to travel that far would start interfering with aircraft, sonar, radar, cellular towers. So we're talking about, massive...
Wow, Techie, I didn't think your little invention could cause chaos.
It potentially could. Anyway.
Yeah, this is your captain speaking. You could walkie-talkie.
See, what I would much rather do is use an old 2G module and make you a simple cell phone that only receives calls from an encrypted signal.
Oh, cool! We can make our own spy phones.
It's not that hard. Again, it's a lot of this stuff isn't actually that hard.
You say that, and yet I'm here.
Well, then, you know, ask questions, learn.
Okay, Raven asks, what are you gonna do with the printer's outer shell body?
Problem is there's not a lot of use for ABS itself. The thing is, the printer can have, like, compartments inside it for all the different mechanisms, and those individually could be useful for enclosures. But the printer itself, the actual outer case, I'll probably end up throwing it out. But the benefit is that since it's torn down, it will take up less room in the bins. And it also means that I can separate the plastics out for the recycling center. Because you see, if the recycling center gets this thing as a whole unit, they basically toss it to one side until someone can be bothered to rip it apart. At which point,
we hack the planet with this shell. Got it.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, I'm not really going to do much with it, but I'm potentially going to benefit a few people with it.
Or just make it into like a little coaster for your drink.
Maybe. But I already have CDs for that.
Wow. It's funny because CDs are dead.
Yeah, they're dying. I wouldn't say
They're
dead.
dying age. You died the moment download and DLC was a thing.
Yeah, CDs still have their uses, it's just no one wants to use them, annoyingly enough.
People like to use them. Like this one time, I decided to get a whole bunch of CDs and throw them around like ninja stars.
Well, I mean, I remember the frustration that my housemate had. This was back when we lived in a place that wasn't really well off internet-wise. And he was getting into, I think, Guild Wars 2. So it was like, hey, I can buy it on DVD, and it'll probably have most of the game, so the download won't be that big. Boy, was he wrong.
He's wrong.
Because the CD, all it contained was a shortcut to the web page to download the entire game.
Yep.
And all I can sit there and think is, you guys could have just put a base game on the CD, so that the person at the other end didn't have to download, you know, all these updates and wait 3 days. Like, our internet was terrible back then.
Oh, interesting.
I wouldn't say poor dusty printer. The thing is, it's gonna be reused. Like all the motors.
Into probably either a coffee machine or a chair or even a cup. So then it'll be a poor dusty cup.
Nah, ABS doesn't remelt too well. Not unless you know what you're doing. And the problem is it's petroleum based, so it stinks to high heaven.
Oh, actually, now I think about it, no, never mind. It's gonna be a poor, dusty, stinky cup.
Yeah. ABS, once it's cooled down, is fine. It's petroleum based, so when you melt it again, it starts producing a putrid smoke.
So far, Raven the Magnificent is probably or turn into a mini robot for Jetstream.
Maybe.
That's another idea. Except we already have a bunch of mini robots all over.
Okay.
Too many around.
Starting to feel threatened?
No, I feel like I should put all of them away. I mean, I know I can't do that. I mean, I could probably probably use what's left of that printer and make a little jail cell.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But hey, what do I know?
Because, you know, if they blast them with the fire, then they're just... And guess what?
Oh, there we go.
are gonna be on fire.
And there's the scanner bed. Have you ever seen the inner workings of a scanner before?
No, my entire life, nor was I interested until now.
Actually, how is the stream looking?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, awesome, awesome.
Pretty good on both sides.
Okay, wow, there is really not a lot holding this together.
So far, this is going so good. Oh wait, no, I jinxed it now.
What?
I said, oh wow, it's going so good, and then I jinxed it. No, I jinxed it twice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. You jinxed it. Oh well. Oh, there's
Well,
some.
let's wait. Might as well wait till the stream explodes.
I will be fine.
Oh hey, wait, was that a piece of paper in there?
Nah, it's kind of. It's a reflective sheet.
Oh.
See.
How's Jeffrey doing since it's been so long since we last chatted? I'm worried about her.
Actually, she's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, she cheered right up once I took over.
Oh, really?
It's... The fact is, the problem is we can sit there and go, hey, Jetstream, let's take a week off. And I'll try and make her take a week off. And the problem is, in the background, she'll still be working. So I basically told her, don't do any work. No, you're not allowed anymore.
No. Drop it.
Oh, there we go.
Give it to Techie. I don't care if you need to do a song or if you need to do like a little funny little skit. Just sit down and play our Pokemon and play your new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX on the Switch. And
Okay. Now to run through how a scanner works, guys. It is actually surprisingly simple. You know how a camera works?
You snap it, it takes pictures, bada bing, bada boom. That's how Snapchat works.
Wow, I really have to go simple. Basically, how a camera works is it opens up a bunch of sensors, and depending on what those sensors receive, it forms an image. Okay, that's why cameras talk about megapixels and all that. That's how many sensors it has to determine an object. Now, with a scanner, all those sensors are actually along a single line, and it shines a bright light onto the object that is scanning. So, and that's why we have a reflective white sheet here. So while it scans, it's constantly taking photos over and over and over and moving down. Like so.
Oh.
And then the brain of the scanner puts it together as a single image. In fact, it zeroes itself out by going, hey, yeah, that sounds terrible. This is my 0 position, and I'm gonna go down, and sometimes it will even go back and scan as well. But that's how it basically works.
Yes. Tell me, where does the soul go?
You really don't want to know. Yeah, don't want to know.
The soul, because apparently, according to some, I don't know, it's an Asian myth. Apparently, tablets at the bottom is still your soul.
Actually, it's more of an Indian thing. Sorry, Native American thing. But that's mainly because the Native Americans believe that anything that bears your likeness has a part of you in it. So the idea of your likeness being able to be torn away from you without your permission is kind of scary to them. This could be very useful. It's phone backed. So this could be useful for lining boxes.
No, wait, is that thing wet or something?
No, that's just double-sided tape. Have fun.
Oh.
But this can be useful for if I need to line a box or something, and this is actually very reflective. It reflects a lot of light. So if I need to...
Is it?
Well, it reflects light. It's not... It's not reflective in the same way as it'll reflect an image. But that could be very useful. the glass sheet here. Okay, I'm going to take this off screen because dealing with glass, I'd much rather be able to deal with it in a way that I can actually hold it. Oh, actually, this is probably how the scanner zeroes. It actually detects this pattern here and goes, oh, I'm at the top.
Oh, careful, Techie. There's warning signs.
Where?
Like right there, on the bottom, like on the base thing.
On the base?
No. Like on what's left of it.
What, this?
Yeah, those little pictures, signed picture things.
Yeah, do not put your finger in while the printer's on. Last time I checked, this printer wasn't plugged in. Not like Toy Story where it's got a spring to life because it's a toy. In fact...
Wait. It's funny because printers don't have soul.
Okay.
The only people who play with the printer are either an office worker, a very lonely person, or I guess Techie in this case.
Well, given that there's still print shops out there, I mean, my brother works at one. With the big industrial printers.
Oh. Like how big? Are we talking like Godzilla sized or like something? Or like
Yeah, something like that. No, like one of the printers would quite comfortably fill my house. That's how big they are, and they're capable of doing like 1,000 books in like an hour. Like actually print out 1,000 books, fully bound, staples,
Okay,
double-sided printing, in about an hour.
Got it. Your brother has a Megazord printer.
Yeah, well, the print factory does. He also, the factory also has a small drone shop in it for, you know, flying drones.
That's also another thing. It apparently can also gain life if it gets, shocked by the All-Star.
Or, you know, Toy Story 4, a little kid just decides to paint a face on it and call it Forky. Okay. Oh, come on.
Oh, God.
Ow.
I mean, there was this one time where I found a very old printer, like, right behind okay, a little story time for me, since Techie always does a lot of story times.
Before he had a beard.
Yeah. Before I had my glorious beard, I was,
Glorious is pushing it.
I was 17 at the time. I lived in a place, small town. I don't know. I will not discreet the location.
Well, do you live there now?
Yeah, I don't live there anymore.
Okay.
Yes. Basically, I used to work for work experience in my high school. I used to work for the newspaper. Basically, I was basically told how the newspaper was made, and let's see. I also did a cartoon for them in the news that actually got onto the newspaper.
Oh, neat.
And I still have that newspaper today, surprisingly. And with that same little cartoon in my old costume. Oh, hello, Scout. Yes.
Oh, well, I managed to get the glass sheet out.
Oh, and behind there was also a whole bunch of old printers. I'm talking like, these printers were so old that if you use them, I'm pretty sure they would print out like solid dust.
Huh. Old Gutenberg presses or just old,
Like, I don't know, some like printers from the 1940s.
Oh,
That's
so not
how
Gutenberg.
old they
Okay, so that... Actually, no, it might still be an early press system. Interesting.
Hey, I even got to... Yeah, this is back then when they basically had to carve in stuff into like these blocks just to get that nice print. You know, all the ads and stuff. They just like carve in a nice thing and make sure it's in reverse. All right, and then they dip it in.
Raven, that's yours.
And boom. And boom, the newspaper on it.
Actually, you should read a book called The Truth by Terry Pratchett. It's all about a fantasy world and the effects that the newspaper had on it.
Ooh.
Actually, it's really good.
The
Really,
dude-
really good.
Yes. I even got to keep one of those as a souvenir. One of the stamps, I mean.
Very nice. Anyway,
Yeah.
this is a nice thick glass sheet. I reckon that's about 5mm thick. Glass isn't exactly as useful as you may think, but for separating out for recycling, it's quite useful. 3D printers often use glass beds for printing as well.
Ah, yes. 3D printing. Your pride and joy.
Yeah, well, it's fun. Ooh, this could be useful. A straight rod.
Yep.
No, actually, you'd be surprised how useful this is.
Right now.
If I need to reinforce something, I can cut it into half, cut it in half, shove it in, and that thing is now reinforced.
Right.
So that is very useful. That is a simple belt. Okay, we'll just push this down and pull this out. And there we have a belt.
Oh, by the way, Techie, Scout says hello to you.
Oh, hi Scout. How you doing, beautiful?
I'm right here.
I know you are, but I wasn't calling you beautiful.
Stop. I mean, what? I mean, what? I mean,
Okay, let's get this zip cable out. There we go. There's the actual sensor itself. A few people have actually hacked these to only use to have the light shining, to use as like little line lamps, which I might try. Well, there's a couple of test points there, so I might actually try and reverse engineer this and work out, you know, how it receives power and that. Well, we'll try it out with 5 volts to start with. Actually, I might just look up the serial number and see how I go. This bit, damn. Oh wow, that is glued on there.
Huh?
Yep.
Hello, yes. I'd like to check in the serial, please.
What?
Hey, you said serial number.
Yes, as in serial identification number.
Why would serial need identity?
Because he has an identity crisis.
He does?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't know if it's serial or serial.
Surreal?
Very surreal. Yeah. This belt might be useful, but I doubt it. Belts are also really cheap, so it doesn't matter.
I see.
Oh, there we are. There's the motor and the gearbox. Oh, there. You can now see our magnet is getting well covered in screws.
I wonder where people are. I wonder if more people will come.
Well, to this.
I mean, so far we got, let's see, who do we have here? Roll call, everybody, roll call. Let's see, we got Scout, we got Raven, the Magnificent, we got, I guess, Drago, the Dragon Pokemon, Alice, the Magical Elf, or the Glitch, and Wolfie the Wolf. Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
Hell do you expect?
Well, given that this was kind of spur of the moment. Okay, need to get these out.
Yeah, I mean, who streams on a Friday?
Yeah, a fair number of people. Might as well keep the gears. They might be useful in the future. Oh, there we are. Another
Wait,
screw.
did you say you were gonna keep the beards?
No, the gears.
Oh, keep right.
Ah, there we are. Water. Kyle saying that Fire Emblem looks different today.
Wait, what? Oh, right, the other chat.
On
yes,
Twitch,
Fire
yeah.
Emblem does look different today. Here we have, well, we have Elbengard, who is, in the background, pretty much doing snaps to the magician.
Yeah. Ugh.
Meanwhile, hey, JoJo Lady, hey, He-Man, and, the others are just, you know, they're just doing their own thing.
This is a stepper motor. I'm fairly certain this is a stepper.
Oh, yes, and Professor Green, like Professor Greenhair, I was about to call her like a tree name professor, like Pokemon. Professor Eucalyptus. That'll do.
Let's check it out, guys.
Yeah.
The stepper motor. Very low profile.
What's a supermotor?
Stepper.
What's a stepper motor?
I can actually show you.
Here's a full-size stepper motor that's used in like a 3D printer. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll take the other bit. You have to be careful, but see, a stepper motor has steps in it. Okay? Basically, it has two alternating coils that allows it to do precise movement. I'm doing this very carefully and very quickly.
Ah, yes. I cannot usher the thought of you screwing this up.
Well, given that these motors are about $20 each.
Again, I cannot usher you screwing this up.
I was able to take one of these apart before.
How perish the thought.
Right there, it sounds like you're having a bit of a stroke.
Need help tearing it up? Just call Rumble and Frenzy to help tear it up. No, we can't call them. One, Soundwave has them. Two, one of them is our best friend. Three, even if we had two of them, I doubt they would, you know, they would basically do more damage to everything else more so than the printer.
Come on.
Did I get that right, Techie? Did I get that right?
Yeah, something like that. Oh dear. Why is
First
this
one
not...
is reasonable. Second one is, yeah, tech is... Wait, do I even need to say spoiler at this point?
No, you don't. And sorry about the noise, guys. I was trying to pop this back off and it's not wanting to, so... Oh well, I'll just screw it back up. Basically, a normal motor has a bunch of magnets inside it, so basically north and south. So it always points in a certain direction, and it basically turns on and off its coils to spin them around, right?
Right.
A stepper, though, a stepper motor, has steps instead of a single magnet stator. So it's able to do precise movement.
I see.
It is actually very useful, and basically getting one this size is actually really, really good. There's cheaper steppers out there that are like $2 each, but I'm willing to bet this thing is actually pretty good. So I'm wondering if I'm able to do something with it. Also, what is my foot trapped in? Huh. Okay.
Techie, you know those old internet broadband things that they go like...
Yeah. You wanna know why they make that noise?
That's my brain right now. You explain it.
Uh-huh. Well, try to keep up. I mean, for frick's sake, Jetstream can.
I'm sorry, what?
Jetstream can keep up with me explaining things.
I'm pretty sure all she does is nod and just agree with you anyways.
Yes, but I'm trying to make you feel self-conscious.
Oh. What does that mean?
It means conscious of self. Okay.
I didn't quite hear that.
Conscious of self. You know, wary, nervous. Ziff cables tend to be useful, but honestly, this one with fingers this big, like this big, could potentially be useful.
It looks like a. If a film with a roll of film had a rat tail, that would be it.
Yep. Okay, that's another bit of scrap. That's a bit of metal. What else? Ah, springs.
Raven is learning stuff from you. I, however, am not.
Springs. One of the most useful things that you can get, because not many places actually sell springs.
Except for the springs in your bed.
Those are way too big for most projects. Huh, and a tensioner.
Unless
Nice.
you're making a very, very big deck, then yeah, we're gonna need a whole lot of those things.
Yeah, not really. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look at stats and such, see how it's going. Huh!
Huh?
Yeah, wow. Okay, this is actually kind of impressive. We've only...
What's impressive?
We only dropped 1% of our frames, as opposed to the usual 40%.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
1 in every 100 frames is getting dropped, which is actually quite good.
I'm gonna take that as a victory.
It is a victory, given that it used to be 40%.
Oh.
Used to be a lot higher. So
It's just like you and me, and then the world. It would be easier, right? Right?
no.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought I was smart for a second.
Yeah, thoughts can be deceiving, but hey, this is why we learn. Don't be discouraged by not knowing. Be discouraged by not wanting to know.
You have riddles more complicated than
It's not that complicated. Seriously. Stop being ashamed of not knowing things. Be more ashamed by the fact that you're not willing to know things. It's not that hard.
Okay. Is this going to be on the test?
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
Actually, here's a riddle for you. If quiz is short for quizzical, what is test short for?
Testimony. Testify. Testacular. Testicle.
Well, actually, I don't know what test is short for. I can really find out, but it's one of those things to make people accidentally say, you know, another word.
What? Testy?
Are you? Well, yeah. Why are you not wanting to die?
I just guessed everything but test in their name.
Yeah, I know. Oh, there we go. This doesn't seem to have anything particularly useful. I mean, it had a spring. That was nice. And it has these rollers, which... Maybe I could salvage the rollers, but... not sure. That's some nice nylon, though, or is that polypropylene?
That looks
No.
like a mini half pipe.
That might be polypropylene. It's very smooth.
Yeah, that roller looks like a mini half pipe.
Yeah. Well, it has these tiny rollers in it.
Seriously,
That's
you
what your
know
paper would
those-
roll up.
You know those toy, like, mini skateboards that you use?
Tech decks.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. God, those were annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, you could have these awesome tech decks and all these different colors and stuff. And it's like,
Yeah! Good luck actually trying to do tricks when I suck at skateboard with my fingers as much as I do with my feet.
No, what was annoying was them going on about, oh yeah, you could take it out with different wheels and that, and they actually affect your performance. And it's like, no, they bloody don't.
No.
They're all basically the same price and just different colors. Honestly, count spray paint and you're done. Oh, these wild designs are basically just stickers. I'm not paying $15 for a piece of plastic with a sticker on it.
You can obviously tell that this is epic because it has a sticker.
I have no clue what this is. This white thing. I have no clue. I mean,
Hey, the audience agrees with me. I think. Do you agree with me, audience?
Oh.
Does the audience agree with me?
Probably.
They know it in their hearts. Provided they have hearts.
Do they?
I mean, they are people on the internet, so...
Yes. But having a heart doesn't necessarily make you a good person.
You know, Techie, you are cutting out a lot for me.
Well, I am further away. There we go.
Oh. I heard a
Bang.
thing.
Yep, that was me. Trying to get this white toothy ribbon out.
That's the only way I could describe it.
Yes, the toothy ribbon.
Okay. Nothing else really of use in here, although, let's see, does it actually have the, material marking? These things are meant to have a material marking to tell you what it's made out of.
Now we get to the big machinery.
Oh well.
I feel like...
Oh wow.
This is where Wheeljack gets his Dinobot brain.
Look at these. These are little ink pipes. I'll have to be very careful with those, because they might still have wet ink inside, and I don't want ink all over the place. Let's start with this.
Yeah, this isn't Splatoon. Evil.
Well, this is also my bed.
Oh, right. I mean, there was this one time where my bed was originally, where one of my bed quilts was like originally blue and with like white dots. But I learned the hard way where apparently it got mixed up with color and now it's blue with pink dots.
I just sleep in whatever's comfortable. Like, seriously, I worked a horrible night shift job that expected me to actually sleep at work, and it was horrible. Simple as that. It was the worst.
I mean, you'd rather sleep on the floor.
Oh, I've done that. I've also slept on bookshelves, I've slept on sofas, I've slept in the back of my car with my best friend.
On a bookshelf? Wait, what? You slept on your bookshelf and your best friend.
No, back of the car with my best friend.
Oh. For a minute I thought, wait, why did you sleep on me?
No, you're not my best friend. You wouldn't know the guy. Although apparently he's moved to the UK, so hey, I might tell him to surprise Jetstream.
Damn it! Lucky git.
Okay.
Apparently it costs like over $2,000 just to get to the UK.
Depending on the time of year, but yeah, that's why I never managed it.
Yep, because we have better things to spend our money on. You with your gadgets, me with my collect.
It's more whenever I saved up the money, big bills have come in and all that, and it's like, well, frick, I really want to save up for this, but hey, I like this whole roof over my head thing and running water. Yeah.
Techie, I think your friend needs to clean his audio receptors. Which one? His friend that he slept with, or me?
If you say it like that, it sounds like we did something. We didn't.
I mean, it's the current year.
Eh. I mean, sure, it was behind the school and everything, but, you know, that's because we needed a place to sleep that was safe.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, we were on the run.
Wait, what? From what? Cops?
Nah, parents.
Oh, for a moment I thought evil government. Oh, my second guess was evil government agents.
See, me and him had this wacky idea of, like, staying up all bloody night and just driving all over the place. Just whole night, just driving for the heck of it. Like,
wait a second. Is the dude you're talking about, the Soul, the guy who plays...
oh, no. Nope.
No, we do not want to give the audience shipping fuel.
Completely different Fred. The thing is, we knew that neither of our parents would approve. So, I was like, okay, so we did the typical, okay, I'll say that I'm staying at your place, you say that you're staying at my place.
Not gonna get... Oh, but it was then that your parents have mastered the art of Facebook.
No, Facebook wasn't a thing back then.
Oh, right. Okay, your parents have mastered the art of MySpace.
They didn't use MySpace. Back the house I was in
parents-
didn't have internet.
Okay, your parents mastered the power of the internet.
We didn't have internet.
Your parents mastered the power of,
How about you just
carrier
shush?
pigeons.
Shush up a bit while I go through this circuit board that might be interesting to you guys. This is the main circuit board that controls the printer, okay?
Main circuit board.
From the looks of it, this... I'm not sure if it shows up, but it says Japan Pasta 1520 and a whole bunch of other numbers. It's like, okay, apparently
Wait,
it's a...
why does it say Japan Pasta?
I don't know. Well, usually chips have some sort of code name, like in the Atari Lynx, they had the Fat Angus. Sorry, the Fat Agnes chip.
Wait, did you say Fat Angus?
Agnes.
Agnes.
Fat Agnes.
Why the heck did they call them Fat Agnes?
Because it was a code name. So sometimes you'll go inside a circuit board, and when they have a proprietary chip, that means a unique chip that no one else uses. It usually has some sort of weird code name. Like, I came across one, its code name was High Wind. Another one had the code name, what was it? Caliber, or something.
Ooh.
It just basically means it's a proprietary chip, nothing... You're not gonna find much information on it.
Time to spin the wheel. It's time for everyone's favorite game, Wheel of Codename.
Yeah, usually it's something to decide on because it makes it easier on. But I'm gonna bet this is the master unit. It has all the information the printer needs to know how to work. This is a...
It's a CPU.
Nope, it's a RAM chip. It's actually a U12.
Damn it, I was close.
The logo looks similar to a Hynix, but it's not. Most single board computer RAM has this sort of weird elongated profile. This would be some sort of it's a WIN board.
Let's see.
Okay, that's interesting. Oh, this is probably to interface with the SD card connector here. there's a whole lot of passives here to work with the, Hey, the Drago, maybe people are trying to listen to me.
Oh, right. I'm listening. I'm totally listening. Yes.
No,
me.
I don't care if you don't listen, but other people might. There's, of course, the USB port for, all the information. This, and all these would be, let's see, it usually says, okay, C in head 2, C N I to head 1, or 2. Okay, so these would be, 4. Oh, okay, information for the print heads. Okay. So all this would be
Techie, I have a
information for print
question.
heads. Yes.
What does USB stand for?
Universal Serial Bus.
Oh my God! It's a universal serial buster.
No, just bus.
Oh,
As in multiple things can hook up to it.
now I'm just thinking of a magic space bus advertising, I don't know, Fruit Loops.
Yeah, why not? There's also a bunch of motor connectors. Like there's one for FB motor. I'm willing to bet that might be feeder bed. CR motor. Not sure what that is. What's also interesting about these sort of circuit boards is actually what's not on them. See all these blank spots where there's obviously meant to be things on there? See, to save money, most companies will actually print out the same circuit board for all their devices, but add different components to change its function. So here, it had room for a LAN port to be mounted, so it could be connected to the network. So I'm willing to bet you have to flash the firmware on this chip slightly different, and you could attach a RJ45 connector and connect it to your network. Or maybe it was Wi-Fi compatible.
Ah yes, Raven the Magnificent says she must go to bed. Bye bye. And the one last thing, she thinks the big green plate there, might be Grimlock's missing brain.
I doubt it, but it's good theory. But-
mean, it would make total sense.
Yeah. I might go through this board and try and salvage a few things. Like, that was actually my plan for the next stream I do concerning this printer, is actually show you guys me desoldering parts. Like, I don't know what these big square bits are. No clue. So I might desolder them and do some testing on them to find out what they are. An SD card thing, that might be useful.
Yeah.
Annoyingly enough, there's not really much on here that's useful other than the coils. A lot of these things, like capacitors, these big standy things, they're cheap. I have, millions of the darn things. There's ceramic caps, again, not useful. There's MOSFETs, but most of them don't have serial numbers on them, so I don't know how to use them. Yeah. Although I might steal the USB port as well. It's actually a through-hole one, so that might actually be valuable. Okay. Oh, sorry, stretching a little, and bring myself a little closer. I am now going to try.
Yes, gotta stretch those techie muscles.
Well, given that I'm used to a desk that's about yay high, and I'm working on something yay high, and I've been working on this for, probably an hour easily? An hour, 2 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, an hour. I've been live for an hour.
Yeah, it's like an hour or so.
So, my back is starting to hurt a little, guys. I mean, cut me a bit of slack.
No one was cutting you slack there.
Yeah, you mockingly go stretch out those techie muscles. It's like, yep, yes.
Like, check out this. Gotta stretch out those techie muscles, man. I meant it like that, you know?
Uh-huh. Oh, hello. There's a screw over there.
Speaking of desks, this reminds me of the time I built my my NES controller desk.
Wait, you actually built one of those?
Yep, technically I just found a desk. I'm like, hey, I want this in my house.
This might be useful. It's a thin sheet of metal, but...
So basically, I sanded it, and I just, took some of the extender parts out of it. And I made it my own desk. And I painted it like the NES controller.
Did you make it functional?
No, it's just like the paint and all that. What do you expect me? Do I look like I would make my own NES controller desk?
Well, why not? It's not that hard.
Who said that hard? According to you, man. According to you, maybe.
Yeah, according to me. Not that hard. Seriously.
You know I dropped out of computer class at that time, right?
No, I don't, actually. Besides, why would that stop you?
I'm not much of a techie person.
So, all you have to do is grab an NES controller and extend out the buttons and connect them to basically bigger buttons that sit underneath.
You make it sound like it's so easy.
It really is, mate. You're not having to make it from scratch or anything. You literally just have to have a spare NES controller and you can do it. Oh.
Yeah, basically I still have this disc today. Hell, I even still have it right now. See? I still have it right, I'm literally sitting on it right now.
Why are you sitting on your desk?
Not sitting on it, it's like, it has all my stuff now.
Ah, it has your stuff sitting on it, okay.
Yeah. Yep, I still have it to this day.
It feels like this part is meant to slide out, but it's not. Oh well. Oh,
wow,
this
I
is...
think I expressed a lot about myself this week. More so than any other.
Okay. This is for, obviously, cleaning printheads, so I need to be careful with this. Oh! On the subject of printers, my 3D printer actually finished off its test print.
Oh, and what little abomination have you brought to us today, Techie?
Just a vase.
Ah, it's
It's a vase.
what is this?
It's a vase. I was just doing a test print.
Oh, it's a vase.
Yeah. I did say test print, I mean, don't know what you were expecting.
I don't know, like another Eevee?
Yeah, I kind of stopped on those for a bit.
You stopped printing Eevees?
Just for a bit. They're useful for finding out how much wobble I have in the print frame. Now I'm trying to see... Oh, yep, this is what I want to avoid. I just got ink on one of my fingers. Oh well.
Current despots. Techie 3D printer. Me, Revenge of the Fallen Jolt.
Oh. What's this?
Yeah, Jolt.
No. As in, what was the question?
There was really no question. I just said current despots. Yeah, me. Techie, you have the printer. I'm not sure if that counts as a despot. It's technically on your bed, bed bot. And for me, it's right now. It's Revenge of the Fallen Jolt. Yes, Jolt was in Revenge of the Fallen.
Why?
He did a thing. He did a thing in the movie.
No, I was asking more, why do you have it?
Why do I have it?
It was on sale?
Not for sale.
No, it was on sale, maybe?
Yeah, it was on sale. Yeah,
Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
I mean, the other thing that was on sale was Generations Power Dive. He was basically another Revenge of the Fallen figure, but he was recolored to become Power Dive. A Decepticon from Generation 2.
Oh, Power Dive. I thought you said Power Glide. I was like...
No,
wait,
Power
what?
Dive, not Power Glide.
Yeah, I got that. Okay. I'm gonna take apart this ink thing and
It turns into like this aeroplane, but like it's like got two rotors, and like the cockpit's like leaning on the back.
How would
I
that
have
work?
no idea what I don't really have no idea what that jet looks supposed to be. All I know is that it's old and basically. Oh, apparently it's a World War II era fighter resembling a Lockheed P-38 Lightning.
Feel the lightning,
That's
eh?
basically his alt mode.
Okay, this is kind of interesting, guys. These are opto-interrupters. Opto sensors. Okay?
Octo sensors.
Opto, as in optical. Not to be confused with sensors. Now you see, when the print cartridge sits in, it covers up the sensor to let the printer know that something's there. One side shines a light, the other side is a sensor. So you ever see those laser tripwires? That's basically how it works. That's basically what these are. Really tiny laser tripwires.
Laser tripwire. They remind me of the Spy Gear commercials.
Oh god, Spy Gear. Ugh.
Yes, the Spy Gear toys are. What's going on? Oh wow! Like I even got some of those Spy Gear things. Like let's see, the glasses. They look cool.
So, mate.
They even had flashlights on them, so that just made them cooler. Let's see what else. The lame grappling hook.
Grappling hook.
Yep, Disney and their obsession with grappling hooks.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to unwind the...
And of course, the door lock. The spy door lock that you need a key to. Which doesn't work with my door.
Why won't it work with your door? I wonder.
Because apparently my door frame was built to, basically, it wasn't built for my door frame.
Okay, I'll stick this in here.
So, yeah.
This is where all the ink cartridges go, guys, so that's why I'm being a bit careful. Why I'm still getting covered in all this ink. And yo, a screw update. We can now no longer see the magnet.
Yep. So long, magnet. No one loved you.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay,
It was quite
Techie
attractive.
loves you, but I don't.
I loved it. It was quite attractive. Really? You're not reacting to that joke? I literally told a bad joke and you didn't even groan or anything. It's like, really? That's like the most disappointing part.
Oh, sorry, I just got distracted by the fact that little gadget you have right there looks like something out of Sesame Street.
Little what?
Yeah, the thing you got right there. It's got like eyes and a mouth. There, so it looks like something out of Sesame Street.
I can't see it. Very clean sponge.
You literally, I'm pretty sure you can hear it say, "Cookies."
Why would it say that? Cookies are soapbox food.
Nom 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 nom.
Oh, nom, indeed.
Yes. That is the sound of cookie munching, my friend.
I highly doubt it, but okay.
Beautiful, beautiful cookie munching.
Okay, let's see what this is. Okay, that's interesting.
What's interesting?
This looks like it's yet another opto interrupter.
Ah, yes,
But
more
much
laser
so-
tripwires that don't fit on my door. Lovely.
But much taller. That's interesting. Must be for detecting jams or something. Oh well, I look forward to finding out. As for this can come out fully, and oh, actually, we have a very clean bit of sponge here, so we can just try and dab these into this a bit, and try and wipe up the worst of the ink. Okay. Stick these up here. This is now kind of useless. I mean, I can salvage the springs, but these springs are. I'll think about it. Like, I could spend another like few minutes trying to do that, but it's like, not really worth it at this point. Okay, let's see. Next, I want to get this off this. This is actually kind of interesting. It's actually a clear bit of ribbon, but if you look closely at it, it has these micro dots all throughout it. And it actually tells the printhead where it is at any given time. Now, the printhead is actually locked in position. This printer automatically locks the printhead. So, you know, can't really move it, but, you know, it helps it find out where it is at any given time.
Hey, Techie, do you remember Kung Zoo?
No.
Apparently, it's this. Apparently, it was this toy line where apparently it was like these epic little hamsters. They're motorized.
Oh, you mean Hamzoos or Hamzooms or something?
Yes, it's like Kung Zoo, I think. Yeah, Kung Zoo.
Oh, right, those things. Those were.
Yeah, what? Sorry, I didn't.
I remember there was the girls' version, and then there was the boys' version, and they're bad.
Yeah, you could always tell they're epic because they got scars and they got super ninja markings, and you could tell that they're fierce warriors because they got battle armor and swords.
That's one tough spring. That's the pensioner. Yeah, Scout will have one apparently.
Of course, Scout would want one.
No, had one.
Oh, sorry, mate. Gotta just stretch out a bit. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, God.
Pulled something in my leg. Oh, that hurt.
Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of leg pulling has been happening lately. To me, at least.
Well, let's turn this around a bit so I can actually get.
Oh yeah, there's also that Spider-Man gear from the second movie. Hey.
Okay. Okay, let's. There's some screws around, I think. Let's see if we can't. Ah, there's a screw there. See, on cheaper printers, they would have like one motor and use gearboxes to use that one motor all over the
I'm
place.
guessing
But
this isn't a cheaper printer.
no, it really isn't. Actually, it's quite surprisingly not cheap.
Oh, I haven't talked to you about this, but I don't know if I talked to you about this before. But what do you think of the new let's see, Masterpiece news? That was it.
You talking about Leo Convoy?
No, not him. I'm talking about Tagatron and RC.
I think you mentioned it once, and I was like, okay, cool. Figurines I'm still not gonna get.
Yeah, because they kind of cost a fortune. And Scout, did you really have a Hans Kung Zu? As ridiculous as they sounded. They were so ridiculous that I instantly wanted one, but I never got one.
I didn't want one. It was like, oh, it's a little fuzzball with a motor in it.
You're an odd child.
Yeah, well, I was disappointed by the Furby, and I never gave up since.
Oh, so this is where Darth Furby came into play.
Darth Furby?
You know, the evil Furby. You know the one.
It's a misconception. All Furbies are evil.
So many evil Furbies. Great, now Furbies are gonna kill us.
Wait, seriously? I mean, I got tons of the blade things.
Killer Furbies. I'm gonna kill them. Stupid.
I mean, I have like 10 Furbies in the back of the house.
Kill them! Kill them with fire!
No.
Let them burn.
Oh, you bastard. Of a bastard.
Bam, bam, it's the kind of him.
Ah, there we go. Okay. That's those. That's that. Okay, so, again, wires, always useful, but look here. Another opto interrupter, but I would say this is more of an opto encoder. It's meant to be a... There's this wheel here that slides in here. Here is another opto sensor. Huh. That's actually quite impressive. Wow, a lot of those things. They're actually really useful if you need to separate signaling and such. You can actually reuse them as sensor arrays. Sorry, as optocouplers. That's it.
Bam, bam. It's the down jam. Slam. Come to the jam.
Oh, thank you.
As Jetstream once said, I need to go tinkle.
And go.
Okay.
Sorry about this, guys. I'm just trying to work out how to get this thing out. Oh, okay. Yeah, the thing that I actually did was the thing I needed to do. Sweet. That is fine and groovy with me. So let's push you in, push you down, push you through there. Ah, there. Sorry. My thing keeps closing my window. There we go. Now I can see what's going on. I can lift this up and be like, okay. Ah, there. I don't really care about fixing this. I care more about getting it out. This, again, is... it's a piece of metal. It could be useful, but I don't really have the force for it. See, a flat bit of metal is useful. A thick bit of metal isn't. Oh, dear. Actually, I'm just gonna quickly grab a drink. And, oh, yeah.
back.
Welcome back.
Yay! What I missed?
Not a lot, I'm just grabbing a quick drink before I get back to work.
Oh. Oh, shit.
Oh, dear. Sorry about that. Okay. Now this came off. Ooh, okay. So now we can actually try and take apart the print head.
Actually, I might switch Jordan.
Let's get this belt off. Not sure how much use the belts will be, but yeah. Now I'm actually eager to keep the tubing here because personally I've never. Most printers have some sort of pump inside the cartridge or something to pump things out. This is the first time I've had to deal with a printer that actually has tubing, so I'm curious. I'll admit that I am curious. Also, grabbing this thing and wiping this clean as much as I can.
How many?
Now, I'm just making sure I'm not staying too far out of the camera while I'm looking this over. Okay. Well, it looks like we have a clip here, so let's grab our flathead screwdriver. Sure that we pull out. Out.
Techie, I kind of figured you'd be the guy who would like, one who would like to love to assemble, I don't know, model kits or something.
Nah, never had the patience.
Seriously?
Well, you see, model kits, you have to follow the rules and build something that, well, you know what it's going to be in the end. Taking something apart means that you kind of sit there and go, what? How does this all work? How does it interconnect? How does it behave? Will it behave?
Well then, Isaac Newton.
Are you calling me that because you deconstructed the universe?
No, I was calling that because you always need to ask something. Like, why?
Well, yeah, of course. Don't you?
Not really. I just go with the have. Oh wow, cows floating. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Huh. They're nice tiny springs.
Yeah, it appears we both have air conditioners on our microphones.
Yeah, I've had to fix mine up last night. When your friends give you something for free, expect problems. But also be thankful, because otherwise you'd be suffering through a 43 day without it. Okay, that is obviously.
Why is it that all the bad stuff is happening on my side of Australia?
I don't know, what did you do recently?
I don't know. I didn't do anything recently. But apparently, I've got, let's see, I think fires are still a thing. I don't know.
They're now under control, but yeah, they're a thing.
Oh. Okay, still some fires left. Let's see, what else? Oh, yes.
Yeah, but doesn't that make life more interesting?
Not really. I like safety. Safety's good. Safety means I do not need to get killed. Horribly.
Since that's how you're gonna get killed.
Wow, thanks for oh man, thanks for making me contemplate life for a second there, Techie.
Where are these things?
Oh, there was this one dream I had. I had 2 nightmares in one night.
Hmm.
Okay, the first one, and probably the one I remember most. Basically, I was on my computer in this dream,
Mm-hmm.
and my computer unfortunately had a virus. I know, spooky.
No, I'm not saying anything about that. My aircon's letting me know it's full of water, and it's like, I have to deal with that in a sec. Right. And the problem is I have the webcam right across the room, so I can't deal with it.
The virus has not only like destroyed my computer, but it started leaking out of my computer and into the real world. Started glitching out everyone I knew. Like basically, let's see, my family members, let's see, my friends, you, I guess, and I guess Jetstream, and basically everyone. So I was running. I found the guy who's like the solution. He could save everyone. Like, hey, help me! I need help! I need help, man! He's like,
I need your help, man.
like, I'll solve your virus problem if you give me $2,000. $2,000? I don't have $2,000. Like, okay, doomed. And the world was doomed, and it was all my fault. The end.
Uh-huh. Sounds a real bummer.
Yeah, see, it's not called a nightmare for anything.
Yeah.
Apparently, the one thing I needed to save the world was that paper.
Well, I would ask if is the world really doomed to that point, or is it better off being doomed, or because think about it, once you've paid the guy, the world is now at the mercy of that guy. That guy has the solution. That guy has the answers.
Are you trying to psychoanalyze my dream?
Not really.
Oh.
It's just logical when you think about it. Hey, I'll solve your problems for this convenient price of $2,000. Okay, I'm sure if the world is glitching and you run to someone and go, hey, someone has the solution for it costs $2,000, someone will turn around and go, okay, have my kidney. Fix this. $2,000, you can borrow that from a bank with very little collateral.
Oh.
But the fact is, it's still a lot of money. So it's more money than you're comfortable parting with, but it's not exactly a hard to get amount of money in a pinch. But the fact is, once you pay, is it really a solution? Or is it a temporary solution? And he comes back every month and goes, okay, where's the $2,000 I need?
I feel like you're psychoanalyzing this dream a little too much.
Not really. Just what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you want to hear some of my nightmares?
You're dissecting this dream as like you're dissecting this printer right before my eyes.
I mean, some of my dreams are downright horrible. A lot of them involving me watching on being unable to do anything.
Oh yeah, and the other one was the zombie apocalypse, but that kind of says that kind of writes its own story. Million stories, actually.
Slow zombies, fast zombies? What type?
Like every zombie known to man.
Ah, neat.
Just the all-stars, like zombie all-stars.
Actually, that sounds kind of funny.
All-Star Zombies coming to theaters this 2020.
Okay, let's see what a spring. Okay, this is actually the inside of the printhead. That's where the pipes will go in, and there seems to be this rubber gasket here. And the pipes will go through here and come out here. This is where the actual ink comes out. Not exactly sure how it exactly works, but I'm also kind of sitting there going, there seems to be no actual pumping mechanism. Which is just kind of interesting to me. But now my hands are quite comfortably covered in ink.
I mean, obviously, I can see your hands are suffering. I mean, look at them.
Oh, I've
Show
done
them to
worse.
the camera. Show them to the camera. Show them.
Oh, I've done worse. I mean, see this scar? Pair of scissors.
What scar?
Oh, there. Pair of scissors.
I don't see a
Really?
Oh, how did you get that one?
I was afraid a pair of wire cutters were going to cut my fingers, so I was cutting off the protective grips because they kept slipping. And I slipped with the scissors.
Kind of reminds me of the time where I took a chunk out of my knee.
Well, I also have a scar here from slipping with a pocket knife.
Still have the scar from my knee. Ever since then, I have a hidden fear of getting down, of sitting on that very knee.
Really? Eh.
Yep, all because I took a real big chunk out of my knee.
I did that when I was like 7. Well, chunk out my shin.
Like, it was the size of it's like basically the size of a gummy bear.
Yeah. I mean,
Like the size of 2 gummy bears, actually.
yeah, no, I won't bother showing my leg on camera, but I still have a chunk taken out of my shin about the size of my fingertip. And that was done when I was like 7 years old.
No need to show off them legs on screen.
Rather, I didn't. I have kind of muscular legs. They're kind of ugly looking.
Apparently, Jetstream has made new designs for us.
Actually, good honor.
Yeah. The fun part is, I'm taller than you, apparently.
Yeah. I don't know. She has this image of Techie in her head that she, seems to like. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're like pint sized, and I'm technically tall. I'm like taller than you. You're like up to my waist.
Yeah, and?
Yeah. You're like up to my waist. You're very tiny.
Yes, it means that to cause you some great pain, all I have to do is uppercut.
You just need to do a shoryuken to the crotch.
Burning fist and all.
Oh, you're doing. Oh, we're gonna do. Wait, how did you put your fist on fire?
It's called gasoline.
That's gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me.
Actually, it won't.
Wait, what? I am confused.
Gasoline vapor burns. Gasoline itself doesn't.
Well, I'm sorry, but it doesn't make sense.
You know how magicians set their hands on fire and like, oh, look at my hands, oh, it's on fire, ooh, and all that? Yeah, it's because gasoline only burns on top. It doesn't burn underneath. Gasoline itself, liquid gas, doesn't. But if you're really concerned about my safety, I'll just use a taser.
Why would you need a taser?
I don't know, why wouldn't I? I'm apparently small now.
Yeah.
Concerned about my safety.
Smallest out of all of us.
Uh-huh.
Like the
Apparently.
smallest out of all 5. Yeah, Retrowave is bigger than you. Like 3 techies tall.
Mm-hmm.
That's how big he is. Like 3
Cool.
three techies tall.
Oh. Yeah. That's a little spider web.
And yes, I'm using you as measurement.
Okay, that is...
My beard does look glorious, though. Like, more glorious than it was originally.
Yes, Jetstream got better at drawing beards. Apparently.
Yep. Ever since she found me. She got better at drawing beards. Glorious beards.
Which is funny, because I actually have a beard.
What?
Yeah, I do.
But it's not true. That's impossible.
Actually, it freaks people out a bit. But it's
Yeah,
red.
for good reason.
I apparently have a red beard.
Oh, me too.
But I have brown hair.
Yeah, brown hair, red beard. Me. God. I swear you're like my clone. I'm starting to believe the whole clone from the future thing.
Oh, please. If anything, you're my clone.
How am I? How am I your clone? That's confusing. That is some M. Night Shyamalan stuff right there.
Actually, not really. I mean, do you keep up with the Superman comics at all?
No.
Well, you see, every time Lex Luthor has tried to clone Superman, it's resulted in either Bizarro Superman, so the slow, dumb clone of Superman that's still really, really powerful, or he has to splice the clone with something else and make Superboy.
Are you calling me Bizarro?
Well, let's see. Are you technical?
What's technical?
Exactly, so, no. Do you like 3D printing? No. Do you like anything I like? Not really.
No.
So, kind of the complete opposite of me, aren't you?
Oh god, I am a Bizarro Techie.
Yep. Search your feelings, you know it to be true, blah blah blah.
No! No!
Yes.
No! No!
Ah! Damn it. Oh, that was annoying. Okay, let's try and fish these through. God, I cannot imagine how hard it is actually to put one of these together. Taking it apart is like I still got a video to upload for tonight.
So you have a video to upload tonight?
Yeah, Sure Shot did a review and Jetstream was like, hey, I finished editing this before you took over the channel. Here you go. So I just did some touch-ups to it and put up for tonight.
Apparently she just gave Sure Shot to me like, hey, teach Sure Shot how to not be boring. I'm like, okay.
He does speak with a monotone, and I don't think he's quite comfortable with the idea of doing multiple takes. Oh, this is a big motor. Look at the size of this thing.
I really can't look at the size of this thing.
Really, you can't?
That is not a big motor. That is tiny.
What sort of motors do you mess around with?
Car?
That's an engine, not a motor.
It's a motor to me.
It's an engine. A motor is a part of the engine. Also known as the starter motor. The thing that actually gets the engine cranked. So it can start sustaining its own momentum.
You know what's weird in this concept art? Everyone here is smiling except for you.
Yep.
I think you're smiling on the inside.
Not really. No, I'm quite obviously not smiling at all.
Yes, you. Unless you count a straight line as a smile.
Not really. I don't smile full stop. No, I don't. They used to freak a lot of people out. They'd be like, Techie, what's wrong with you? And it's like, nothing.
Nothing.
But you're not smiling. It's like, yeah, I know. Don't you have anything to smile about? Yeah. Life is okay.
I
Are you
feel like
ups-
whenever you... Why is it that you make it sound like every time you smile, a puppy dies?
No, every time I smile, someone comes back from the dead. And honestly, it's just getting annoying.
Wow, your smile can make zombies?
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's go with that.
Hey, now I'm scared.
Really, it's not the skeletonized Furbies that scare you. It's not the fact that I told you you're basically my clone. It's that.
Yeah.
It's that random fact.
In the concept art, I was surprisingly tall, like way taller than you. But then she like shortened me just by a few inches. I was still taller than like you and just.
Okay, I see you. Yeah, why do people assume that if someone doesn't smile, it's for some bad reason? Like, oh, every time they smile, a puppy dies. Like, maybe they smile because something good happens and people keep bothering them about it, and they're like, no, I'm not gonna frickin' smile for ya. Oh, please, I want my granddad to come back from the dead. It's like, no! Feck off, little Timmy! I don't care about your granddad! I don't care if he died in that chocolate factory!
I didn't think you were that soulless.
Oh, yeah. I'll bring back to life someone who's gonna sleep around in bed, but as soon as their grandchild wins golden ticket, oh, nope, I can leap around and dance and everything.
Are you still about that chocolate factory thing?
Look, I never got paid for that smile.
Like, oh boy, I'm miraculously healed. Guess I'm gonna go to the chocolate factory with you, Charlie. Actually, has Jet Dream showed you the concept art?
Yeah, she has.
Oh. Huh. Why? Yeah, why did you think she made you pint-sized?
I don't know. It's Jetstream. She has her reasons. Okay, this is now looking more interesting because that looks like a pump.
More marketable. What market?
Wow. Oh, wow.
I'm not sure what she means by marketable.
Okay, shush for a moment. I'm seeing an ore here. I have no clue how any of this works. There's a whole load of nylon gears that all spin together and everything. Wait, is that an... Oh, yes! It is! It's a fucking encoder wheel! Ah, frick yeah! Oh my god, this thing is actually a servo! Haha!
Techie? Oh, right. I'll let you. I'll let you have your little glory moment.
This is a servo. I have so much use for this.
I'll let you. Don't worry, audience. I'll let Techie have his little glory moment.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna have to go with a small screwdriver. This thing is... And this is why I also brought the other screwdriver, because sometimes my universal screwdriver isn't as universal as I hoped. Oh, nope. Damn. This is annoying. Okay. The wire's there, so this is obviously some sort of sensor. This is...
So explain what you found in the Lost Ark.
Well, I might have found a servo.
And...
A servo is a motor that usually has some sort of encoder or potentiometer attached to it so it can do accurate movement. Not like a stepper. A stepper can move constantly around and it can do accurate steps, but it can't do positional movement.
I see.
Where a servo can tell if it's moved like 90 degrees, 120 degrees, whatever, A step emoter can only tell you that, hey, I just moved 100 steps, and that, and unless you tell it that 100 steps means that it's freaking that 100 steps actually, means something to it, it doesn't care. Where a servo goes, hey, I just moved 120 degrees and I can't move any further. Servos are very good for accurate movement. Very accurate movement.
I'm guessing this you're gonna use it in some way.
Well, you know that robot arm I built a while back?
No.
I literally did it around Christmas.
Yeah, I don't think I remember that video.
Yeah, I did as a stream.
So far, the only videos I remember are the review ones, the streams, and the ones I'm in. Surprisingly, there are very few ones that I'm in.
With that sort of memory, I'm not.
Honestly, the latest one I'm in is like, what? Not counting that whole little circus act you got me through.
Yeah, well. Oh, wow, that's a lot of gunk.
Let's see, what else? Let's see, Digimon, no. Let's see, what else was it?
Okay, this is some sort of mini peristaltic pump, I think. From the feel of it, there is some sort of roller in there, and it's meant to go around and over.
I think it was Ask Jetstream, part 1. Oh. Wow, I literally did do nothing now.
Meh, well, you're doing something now.
I mean, yeah, I'm talking to you.
This is gonna be interesting, so I'm gonna dump it in my little vase to stop any extra ink leaking out. Oh dear. There's a lot of
Yeah, apparently you and Scout have the same birthday.
We do?
Weird.
Well, Scout, when's your birthday?
It's in December.
Well, yes. That's what my birthday is.
Which begs the question, if you were born December, how is it that you're so, on the naughty list?
A what list? Sorry, you made no sense there.
You do know about your acts in the past, right?
Your acts in the past? No.
How you're like, oh my, and all that.
No, I don't.
Oh my goodness. You don't, never mind.
Okay.
I haven't asked Jetstream, why is Techie a midget? I don't know what, and she replied to me, make it about!
Yeah.
Apparently midgets are marketable. You're like the Krillin of our crew.
Apparently. Okay, let's try and get
Right,
over.
so in order for Jetstream to go Super Saiyan, you need to die.
Ah! No, Scout, you have the same birthday as my sister, though.
Oh!
My birthday's the 21st.
Oh!
No, she's not a twin sister.
Bizarro Techie, I have no idea.
Oh, man. I'll work out how to, get this stuff. Oh, wow. I should have brought some tea towels or something, too. Okay, there's a spoon there. Can I get out with this? Or do we need this smaller? Yeah, I need this smaller. So, very, very darn close. I mean, hey, I won't be able to forget your birthday, Scout.
Yay! I'm get my birthday, so I guess I don't even know.
Which actually reminds me, I actually have a friend whose parents share the same birthday.
Seriously?
Yep. So once they found this out, and you know the relationship started getting serious and all that, they decided to get married on that day as well. That way, their birthdays and wedding anniversary is all on the same day.
Aww. Best birthday gift ever.
Yeah, well, apparently it makes it way, way more convenient for everyone.
I can imagine the cake. There's one layer for the wedding cake, one layer for the husband's birthday cake, and one layer for the wife's birthday cake.
Oh, micro switch. That could be very useful. Oh, man.
So, wait, Techie, what are you gonna do with these parts?
Anything.
Anything.
Yep. Never know. Motor could become part of a robot, or part of a drone, or maybe even part of another printer. Or maybe someone comes to me and goes, "Hey, my toy's broken." I look inside and go, "Hey, I recognize these motor parts. I can replace those." There's a lot you can do with this sort of stuff. You just have to, you know, be creative. See, I'm always used to not having a lot of money as a kid, so you got used to kind of making your own toys. It's kind of just grown from that.
I can already just imagine you making your own tin soldiers.
Yeah, not really. I made my own computer games when I was 7.
Right, you made your own computer games. Yep, it's official. You're Tony Stark.
Not really. It wasn't that hard.
Iron. Yeah, because I'm sorry, but
Most kids in the 80s were. I was just late to the party, apparently.
Well,
See,
sorry,
back
I
in
was
the...
born in the 80s.
No, I wasn't born in the 80s. Well, I was born late 80s. But, you know, different thing. But, see, back in the 80s, there were a lot of basic computers out there. And the UK, in particular, was trying to launch this whole education thing on getting students to learn how to program on computers. So you could actually get magazines that had full codes on that you could type in to make your own games. Now, when I was a kid, I was always a bit jealous of my older brother having his Nintendo to play with. So, you know.
Ah, yes. Baby Techie. He was the same height as regular Techie nowadays.
Yeah, anyway. So my dad, being sarcastic, went, "Okay, Techie, you want your own video games that badly?" And gave me an old computer from the 70s and a magazine filled with all these different codes and that, and went, "Right, if you want your own video games so badly, program them yourself." Of course, I was 5 years old and didn't understand sarcasm. So I programmed my own video games when I couldn't read.
At 5 years old.
Well, you see, it's not that hard, because, you know,
You're
because the
saying
parts...
it's not that hard, but you...
Well, you see, the parts with the code would be written differently, so you knew it was the code. And then you went through the keyboard and went, "Okay, I have to hit this key, and 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 this key, this key. Oh, look, there's a line of code." Took me most of the day to program, like, one game, but by the end of it, I had a game. And, you know, over time, when I finally learned how to read, I would go back over the code and be like, "Okay,
Did you ever...
now that..."
Do you even still have that game to this day?
No, but, did have a game that I made in in TAFE that annoyed the living daylights out of a bunch of students because I made it so it got harder and harder and more challenging. So yeah, I end up with a game that, like, most people did like these funny little games that they were a bit silly, and I did this one game that everyone just kept flocking around because it was like, God damn it, Techie, why is it getting harder and harder? And I told him it was very simple. I just programmed the function so that it would take your score and apply that as speed to the enemies. And then at a certain interval, it would use that to set the spawn rate of the enemies. So,
Wow, that sounded like you were never thirsty again. Because you always had the sweat and tears of all those you had playing your game.
no, it wasn't that bad. It was a really basic space shooter. I could probably do much better now. No, more like Missile Command.
What's Missile Command?
It's like Space Invaders. Basically, you have like this turret stuck in the middle, and things would come down towards your character, and you would have to deal with them.
I see.
No, you don't, but I do praise you for trying.
There was an attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, even Scout sees you as Tony Stark. But, like, with less charm and no Iron Man suit and little money.
Is there anything about not having an Iron Man suit?
Heck, I even took 2 of those online tests. And basically, I got Iron Man twice. So,
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure parents are proud.
Pretty much. So yeah, you got the tech and I got the charisma.
If you say so. Let's see. Looks like there is some sort of peristaltic pump thing in here, but I can't. Oh. No. I can go in there. Oh, you. God damn it, that's a lot of ink leaking out. And my phone just locked itself, which is really freaking annoying because now I can't look at the chat, and my fingerprints are covered, so I can't unlock my phone easily.
I mean, when Scout tried the quiz, the first time she got Black Panther. The second time she got Thor.
So, you know, good looking both times. That sounds like Scout.
And of course, I got Iron Man because obvious reason. And wow, this stream has gone for like 2 hours.
Yep. I might dismantle that further in the future if I work out how to dismantle that further, but that's a really hard part to try and dismantle. That's a lot of ink. This thing has been actually sitting in the back room of my house for like over a year, and it still has wet ink. That's really annoying.
So, Techie, how does it feel to finally get this thing? Techie's TearDown.
I appreciate the fact that it's like it's a test run. You know, like, it doesn't matter if this doesn't do well. 1, I get to do a job that I've been putting off for a few months. And 2, I get to see how the stream performs and will later actually review the stream footage and see how it actually looks.
Yes, Techie's TearDown, the pilot episode.
Well, a few channels do tear down things. I mean, the EEV blog does them all the time. Does like dumpster dives and gets old computers and all that, and tears them down and all that. And Marco Reps does wonderful teardowns of high-end test equipment.
Might as well see the performance of this pilot episode. See how people.
Who knows? People might enjoy the fact that they get to see me tear down something and explain parts to them.
Let's face it, people only came here for me.
Which is funny because it's called Techie TearDown, so the first thing they would have seen is my name.
I mean, I would have gone for something more comical like the Techie and Drago show, but you were like, no!
Well, no, because that's quite an annoying and inaccurate name.
Really? Man. Yeah, apparently people kept calling us the Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, well. Who am I to correct them? Where is that screw? There's clearly something.
Techie's TearDown with Drago.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a massive clump of... Ooh, okay, that's not good. I won't show that to camera. Just a massive spider web.
A massive spider web.
Yep.
I can never look at Spider-Man the same again.
Is that a spider egg? Meh. Might be. Was down the back of the house for a while. Jeez. All I'm trying to do is actually get this motor out and this power supply, because I'm actually quite curious about the power supply itself.
Wow, it seems that this stream is going good.
It's not our usual stream day, so, it's fine. I mean, it's also Friday morning for a lot of people, it's not Friday evening.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't expecting great numbers, that's why I was using it for the test. Because, it doesn't matter if the numbers are good or bad.
It's good or bad or good, so be good for goodness sakes. Oh. Yes. I'm sure people will love Techie's teardowns with me. Yeah, with just me, then this me talking, this you talking, and just talking while we tear down a piece of ancient technology to harvest an organ.
It's not really ancient technology. I mean, sometimes things just break. And it's like, well... Yeah.
Next you're gonna tell me we're gonna, disassemble a typewriter or something.
Yeah, why not? If I come across a broken typewriter, maybe.
I was just kidding about that.
Hey, do you know about old computer typewriters? Or rather, electronic typewriters. They were typewriters with a very basic computer inside them that literally all it did was hold a bunch of text, and you could tell it, you could hit a button and it would print it out to an actual page. The idea is that you could type in an entire sentence or paragraph and then spell check and then hit print and it would actually print out on the page.
Oh, really?
You didn't really have much in the way of brains, but it got the job done.
I mean, I was more thinking about one of those old-fashioned typewriters.
Oh, the old Mayweather portables. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, those are interesting. Yeah, another rod.
Yes. Though I can't, but still, the spelling mistakes back then must have been phenomenal.
Apparently quite irritating.
Whenever you have to do a spelling mistake, you just have to, once you find
You would have to redo the page. Well, no, you see, actually later on, some typewriters actually actually had whiteout ribbon that you could just switch out the ribbon and use this whiteout on it. Or you literally got a thing of whiteout over it, wait for it to dry, and then type the right word over the top.
Oh. The more you know.
Still freaks some people out to find out that you could get white ink back then. You get white ink now.
Yeah, Sally, how are you doing? I'm doing good, but I think I made a few mistakes. What's that? You made a few mistakes? Alright, buddy, you're fired.
I'll pretend to know who you were trying to impersonate, rather.
Alright, Dolly.
Sounds like you're trying for Cagney, but you don't know what Cagney actually sounds like.
No, I was trying to sound like one of those mobsters from the 50s.
Yeah, so Cagney.
Yeah, basically that.
Yeah.
Not
Was
so
it
fast,
right?
Dolly. As it gets, not so fast, Dolly. It's gonna be really hard to print something out when you got a 6-inch bullet in your head.
Also, Outlaw says, hey. Hey, Outlaw.
Hello, the outlaw.
Don't worry, we'll be wrapping up the stream soon. I'm nearly done here, actually.
Because me and Techie apparently are exhausted.
I'm exhausted, and really, really messy.
I'm exhausted just talking.
How you get used to it after a while.
Oh my.
Well, that's probably because I'm far away from my microphone at the moment, and hunched over a dusty printer, so lots and lots of dust.
Yes. Apparently this is going to be a thing on Fridays now.
Oh, no, not every Friday.
Yeah, not every Friday. Just whenever Techie feels like
another decent-sized motor.
What?
Another very nice motor, actually. With a worm gear.
Motor. Another. Oh, would you look at that? I think Motor likes you.
Please don't. Okay.
What?
Just don't. Bing, bing, bing. Actually, that is a really nice action.
You sound like someone who's been a horribly naturally congested for 9 months, mate. I have no idea what that means.
Neither do I, but hey, admit this is a nice action.
What is that?
It's the paper feeder. See, it has these rough wheels for feeding the paper through. Yeah. Ah, finally! Finally! We're at the last part! Whew.
Last mammoth.
What? No, just the last part. Okay. This would have been dangerous if I plugged this in earlier, because this is actually the power supply.
Oh, we gonna make a few batteries here, boys.
Oh. I'm just curious about what the power supply is. I'm gonna actually put it back together in a bit.
Don't worry, Techie. If you get shocked or radiated, people.
Oh, it's fine.
Oh.
It's fine. Okay,
What
sure.
do you want to put on your epitaph?
I told you it'd be fine.
Oh.
Okay. There's an optocoupler to give signal through. This is obviously power. So these are power cables. See, the power will go in here, go through this transformer.
Transformer?
Yes, it transforms the 200 plus volts down to something like maybe about 30 volts and then sends it over.
Well, isn't that more than meets the eye?
Oh, it is. You can make all sorts of nasty things with transformers.
Are you sure it's not a robot in disguise?
I'm quite sure, thank you. Yeah, Outlaw, it was a printer.
Yeah, it was a printer until Techie literally ripped out its guts and decided to harvest its organs. On camera! And
See-
I victim!
So, I wouldn't mind keeping this power supply and finding out, how much power it could actually output, because that could be useful for future projects. You'd be surprised how often you need, like, a really powerful power supply to get
Oh, what's
things
that,
done.
Outlaw? You want to know what's all over Techie's hands? Oh, I'll tell you what's all over Techie's hands. The blood of an innocent.
It wasn't innocent, it was broken. This, though, this gets me curious because there's actual wires coming out of this. Oh, fax machine, that's right, this was part fax machine. I thought this was a surge protector.
Explain now what is going on.
Thinking about the, fax module. See,
Wait, what did like release the radiation or something?
no, there's nothing. You could tell if something's irradiated because it'll have a big warning sticker on it saying, hey, radiation here.
Warning, warning. This is radioactive. Unless you want to be like the Hulk, unless your name is Bruce Banner, don't go anywhere near it.
Okay, this I like.
Now that I think about it, you'd probably do a pretty good Bruce Banner cosplay.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, come on, don't be modest.
I'm not being modest, I wouldn't.
Oh, come on.
See,
You got
here.
the look.
Okay, Nindrago, shush. Shush, shush, shush. We're nearing the end. This big block here, do you know what that is?
It's a USB thingy.
No. It is called a relay.
Oh, yeah, that was my 20 millionth guess.
See, a relay is a special type of switch where basically it's kind of like a switch that turns on another switch, if that makes sense. Basically, there's usually a coil that when you put power through it, it pulls down something to actually turn on a switch. So you can turn something on with high voltage using low voltage. Because the higher the voltage, the more it likes to jump around and electrocute you. So you want to stay. It's kind of like the equivalent of using a big pointy stick to turn on something dangerous.
I see.
You don't want to get near the dangerous thing with your hands, so you use the pointy stick instead. That's what a relay is.
Oh. Apparently, Outlaw called you the new Michael Reeves, whoever that is.
Michael Reeves? I do not know who that is.
Me neither.
I mean, thanks for the compliment, I guess. Now, this board has something actually worth salvaging. But the power supply I'm going to keep. This is grounded and all that, so, I might do some tests with the power supply. I'm not sure.
Let's
if
see,
it only
what
does
weapon
that.
of- So, Techie, what weapon of mass destruction will we make out of this thing?
Nothing. I mean, there's no lasers or anything.
Are you kidding me? Like, I'm pretty sure death laser is like a wet dream. At least
Not really. Do you realize how much power is required to go through a laser? And for it to penetrate human skin, I mean, just to find out that, oh no, someone has this slightly different level of melatonin, so that means that the laser is utterly useless on them. Yeah, great, $20 million down the bloody drain. All because, their freaking melatonin is different. Ugh. Okay, lasers penetrate based on light, not based on energy. Well, it is based on energy, but light is the important part. So, if you have, say, a blue laser, it will burn through things that are not blue really well, and it'll pass through blue quite comfortably. Or is it the other way around? Either way. A green laser will burn a lot of things. It'll also... No, that's right.
Oh yes, it's also used to blow up Alderaan.
Yeah. The fact is that you would have to pump a lot of energy in to get over a certain wavelength.
And that is how to build a death laser with our very gracious host, Techie guy.
Not really. There's better people for that. I mean, look at Styropyro. He's actually pretty good at that, and there's been a fair amount of people who've built coil guns.
I still do not know who this Styropyro is.
Does some very interesting videos on lasers. Anyway, this is potentially useful. So, let's slide this thing over and have a look at what we've managed to get so far before we wrap up. We have some opto interrupters.
Yeah, the laser tripwire pieces.
Which, are kind of interesting, I'll give them that. Plastic. Actually, we've got 3 motors. One big ass motor. This is actually a really big motor, guys. A somewhat smaller motor.
Oh wow, you got 2 pairs.
Actually, 3 motors. This is technically a motor, but it has something on the back that I'm going to say is an encoder, so this might act more like a servo. And possibly a pancake stepper, which might be really interesting to mess around with. So, we've got a lot of motors. These are always useful for projects.
I say.
Got this tiny screen that, honestly, I hope I'm going to be able to reverse engineer. Because if I'm able to reverse engineer this and actually use it to display information, this could make for a nice little watch or any sort of display. That's junk.
Or just like, I don't know, make a little HP bar for, I don't know, the tabletop stream for everybody.
Some more opto interrupters, a circuit board that I might go through. Ah, yes, the scanner of the printer. I'm actually hoping I'll be able to power the lamp in this and use it as maybe like a little lamp of some sort. I know it sounds really daft, but it's a really powerful lamp, so it might be actually really useful for mounting on things where I really need a lot of light.
You make it sound like you're making a lightsaber.
I actually got 2 of these micro switches, which honestly you always need when you're building like 3D printers or CNC machines. Like you can just position them, and all it has to do is just tap, and there. It tells it where it's hit its limit.
Yes. Now I'm just waiting for you to like make your little invention be all like, it's alive! Alive!
No, I just ask it to tell me it's beautiful. That's my thing.
Tell me you're beautiful. Just slap it in the face like, are you beautiful? No. Tell me you're beautiful. Okay.
That's just weird.
I mean, it's true.
You have issues, mate. I got a little speaker, which actually could be very useful for a project I've been working on for a while. And a lot of stuff that might be useful, like these belts, might be useful in the future. Wires, always useful.
Yep, can never have too many wires. Unless you're
trust me.
Way too many wires.
Trust me, when you especially get like the wrong amperage through a wire, you need wires.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your room looks like, pretty sure your floor looks like mechanical spaghetti.
Not really. I mean, that's why I use these magnets for all the screws.
Still looks like mechanical spaghetti.
I mean, yeah, there's a neodymium magnet in the middle there, and, yeah, it's definitely, yeah.
Oh, that's a keeper.
Well, you see, I do keep all my screws. You see?
Yes.
I have a...
So we don't. So that way, none of us screw things up in the future.
Well, the number of times someone's come to me and gone, hey, a screw just fell out of my laptop and it keeps sliding apart. And it's like, okay, let's have a look. Oh, it's those. Okay. And, you know, just put in a new screw for them. Like, it's either that or pop down to the hardware store and hope they have the right size screws. And surprisingly, a few times, a hardware store won't have the right size screws. So you see, there we are. All my screws are now in there, and I can put my magnet back on my shelf. Yeah. So that was a successful teardown. Oh yeah, also got a couple of rods.
Yeah.
These are actually quite
successful
useful.
Techie's teardown.
Are you alright?
I haven't slept for hours.
I mean, are you alright, or were you bounced as a baby?
No. I'm perfectly fine. I just haven't slept. And I just really need to sleep. Because it's like 2:16 a.m. for me.
Uh-huh. You need help. Anyway. Yep.
Yes.
Got
Oh,
these.
can I do the outro?
Yeah, maybe in a bit. When I decide you can.
Please.
Fine, do it. But not yet.
Now?
No.
Alright.
I think I actually worked out what I'm gonna do with these rods. See, I got two very similar length rods. Now there is a type of CNC machine for cutting. CNC is used for cutting material, called a mostly printed CNC, and the idea is that you use cheap materials to make in 3D printed parts. And it's like, well, I don't need one that's really big, but you know, a small one. These two rods would be ideal for the actual central thing. You know, once I got all these rubber bands off this rod, that could actually be a very interesting project. Well, I might mess around with it. Well, it's got this rod, but it has this sort of stuff on it. Like, this is really rough stuff. But I think this is for gripping paper. I mean, it's still a decent rod, so I might keep it. Just strip the gears off it and such.
I see.
Do you? Do you really?
No, not really. I'm pretty sure all I got from this video was laser tripwires, dissection, ink, and
And always wear a black t-shirt when doing this sort of thing.
Wait, you weren't wearing a shirt when you were doing this whole thing?
No, wear a black shirt.
Oh yes, make sure you wear a nice black shirt.
Printers, you can get a lot of parts out of them, but... Oh, yeah, and also a possible peristaltic pump. But, you know... And a lot of this tubing, which could be useful in the future. Anyway...
Yeah.
Thank you for coming along to my test stream, guys. I apologize for the noise as I bump this microphone back.
It's probably fine. They'll enjoy it.
I think... yeah, the outro is not going to work because of the new setting I'm trying. That's fine, I'll fix it up later.
I'll just do the... Should I do the intro, like, right now?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Be sure to like and subscribe. For new videos, please like and subscribe. And remember, with every subscriber, we are one step closer from taking over the web. And control the web, the world is ours.
Yeah, just like and subscribe for more content. I've been Techie, you've been fantastic, and I'll see you all next time.
Oh, and I've been a Drago. Hello, bye.